Hiya, beautiful people! Remember me? It's been a really long time since I last uploaded a video, and it's been a longer time since I uploaded a plant video. People have been asking me, how are your plants? Some of them actually died. Our monsoon season last year was longer than usual. We had floods and thunderstorms. There wasn't enough light for the plants, especially the variegated plants. And those were in a balcony. To me, my balcony is the ideal light. A lot of my variegated plants died, so I was heartbroken. But all of these plants that are inside, surprisingly, they survived because I had the grow lights. The grow lights basically gave me like a constant light source, even through the cloudy days. Yes, I know some of you have been asking me for updates of the grow lights, of the Sansi grow lights. They're still here, as you can see, and I'll show them to you later. And well, today it's a plant video. I'll just take you around my living space and show and tell some of the plants that have been living here. Let's start here. Now this is actually a new plant I got. I got this maybe 2 weeks ago. This is apparently a new hybrid of the Philodendron gloriosum. It has extra white veins, and I don't know if I can show you, but oh yeah, and the veins are pink at the bottom. So it's quite a compact plant. I don't know how big the leaves will grow because this is just a baby. The price of the plants have been going down lately. So this, well, a general Philodendron gloriosum would have costed maybe, I don't know, 300 over Malaysian ringgit. Since the price has gone down, this one was 48 ringgit. It is close to what it used to be before the pandemic. I think this is a tissue culture. That's why they could sell it so cheap, maybe. But I don't mind. It looks really pretty. The leaves are really nice. And I intend to change it to this pot, but for now it's just sitting in its pot, and I've added some holes in the plastic pot using the soldering iron so that it breathes better, because I don't know what substrate the seller is using inside. For now it's still looking good under the grow light, so I'm very happy with this. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now this one I got from my hairdresser. He grows this really well in his salon, and it's huge. And it took a long time for it to root. I don't know if you can see the roots, but those are those little tiny stuff. Took a really long time, maybe 6 to 8 months. It just gave me one new leaf so far. So, but I'm waiting for it to grow and see how it looks like. Okay, this is an Anthurium, a bird nest Anthurium. This is a rabbit foot fern. So, look at that. It's growing quite nicely here. Needs a lot of water, so I need to sprit this every day, especially on the roots. Otherwise, the leaves would turn brown immediately. The next one up is a Philodendron Goldii. It's not called Philodendron Goldii now. It's Thaumatophyllum spruceanum. I think that's the new name for it. Love the leaves. Okay. Aluminium foil around the pot is to deter my cats from scratching the soil. My cats don't bite the leaves. They are quite safe with these plants, but they do like to scratch on the substrate. This substrate is kind of, hang on, it's kind of full, so it's up to the brim, so it's very attractive to them. They will come in here and they will scratch it. The aluminium foil seems to deter them. Okay, next up, a Philodendron Florida Ghost. That's what I've been sold, but I have yet been able to get a really white leaf. Initially, I placed this outside, thinking that, well, maybe the sun would get the leaf white, but all I had were mint color leaves. So I brought it in here. I had a new leaf, and it was whiter than what I had outside. So I'm just keeping it here for now. I've also added some of my other cuttings on top here so that the top don't look so bald. So I have a Micans Philodendron Hederaceum, but people call it Micans here, and I have a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma here. So this one is growing really lushly. I'm waiting for these new leaves to come out again and you see how white they are. Okay, so I realized that the plants that I put in here are actually growing better than the plants in my balcony. Yeah, these ones under the controlled grow lights, I give them like about maybe 8 hours of grow lights every day, and they're growing quite well. Okay, next up is another Anthurium. I think it's a different one from that one. This one is the Ruffles. It's also a bird nest, but what I love about this Anthurium is the visible roots. Look at that. And they're cute, really cute. Like little maggots. So this one is growing really well. Now lately, it's been getting, I don't know what's happening here, but some parts here, maybe it's too near the light, I don't know. But I'll just leave it alone for the moment. It's been growing really well. I bought this as a really small plant. Now this I'm really impressed with. So this is a Philodendron billietiae. I also got this before the pandemic, before the price hike. But when I got it, it was still quite high. The price was, I think I got this for maybe 180 RM. Now I see this all around the internet for less than, some babies even less than 50 ringgit. So if you want to buy a billietiae, I think it's a good time to buy one now. I'm surprised that it's not like really leggy. Only the leaves are really like extended. I don't even have to put a post yet. It's still growing up on its own. So really happy. This is the newest leaf. This is like a natural tear. It was like that when it grew out. This one is huge. So next is this Anthurium crystallinum. This also I bought as a really small baby. I don't do Anthurium really well because they get all these edges, right? All these brown edges. A friend taught me to put some moss around where it roots, and I have to spray water every day. So this new leaf is still doing quite well. Hasn't had brown edges yet. If I didn't spray water on this every day, the new leaves would immediately turn brown. Like once they come out, once they mature like this, in maybe 3 days, I would have seen the brown edges already. But by doing this, it's kept it pristine for a longer time. Okay, next to it is my Philodendron rugosum aberrant form. I feel like philodendrons with the thick leaves do pretty well in my space like this. Thick leaf philodendron. So they do really well. So I'm going to stick to this kind of plants for now. Okay, this one had a lot more leaves at the bottom, but for some reason, like last year, it just kept dropping leaves. I haven't changed any of the routine, didn't do anything to it, but it just kept dropping leaves. But I think now I know why. It's because, look at that. It's been trying to give me babies. So this is a lot of babies. I don't know where they're coming from. Probably from the stem inside. So they're just popping out here and there. Right? So I know a lot of my plants do this. They will drop a lot of leaves and then give me babies. Even my alocasias, they do that. My guess is because, one, I'm not feeding it enough. Two, maybe because this is not the perfect environment for it. I'm sure if this rugosum is growing like outside on the ground, it won't drop leaves to do that. It will just give me babies. It's dropping leaves because it needs to give more energy to these. Well, I don't think all of them will survive. I don't know how many will survive because this is a small pot and I don't intend to change it to a bigger pot, so I don't have the space for it. But well, we'll see how many of the babies survive. So coming here is my cat space, so no plants. Past this barrier, I have this alocasia. I can't even remember the names, but a lot of people call this Friday, but Friday is the alocasia that has variegation on it. So this is the green one. I think it's called Michaelidziana. It seems to be growing nicely. I love this plant. Alright, got cut off because the battery died. As I was saying, I like this plant a lot because of its velvety leaves. I just don't like the way it grows because it's very haphazard. Can you see that? And another thing is, this plant loves to attract spider mites. So, if you can see, these leaves have been infected by spider mites, which I've already cleaned up. Look at that. So if you see signs like that, you should check the plant for spider mites. So this one has always got to be maintained and always got to be careful of spider mites, especially if the air is a little bit hot and a little bit dry, the mites will come. And it's also giving me some babies. Check it out. But just look at those velvety leaves. I mean, aren't they just gorgeous? At the top here, I have these two plants. This is a Hoopersia. It's what they call tassel fern. It's grown just in moss. Needs a lot of water. Doesn't grow very well for me. I got this plant for quite a long time already and it's still like straggly. So I'm just popping it up here, hoping more light will bring in like better foliage. And this is another philodendron. Bought this plant as a 2-leaf cutting. Really love this plant. Love how the leaves look. Looking at how it's growing, I'm sure it needs more light than this, but I'm really happy to put it here. I can see it every day when I'm sitting in my hall. Now this plant, although I love it so much, but I'm really confused with what it is. I know it's a philodendron. It was sold to me as a Philodendron quercifolium, but I've heard a lot of names for this plant. Some people call it a Florida narrow, glad hands. I don't know how to differentiate them. They all look similar to me. So if any one of you know for sure what this plant is, what philodendron this is, please, I would love to know once and for all for sure what plant this is. This is a cutting of my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma from the balcony, which unfortunately died. It was growing up the wall so well, and then something happened in mid-stem. It rotted in mid-stem, so I had to cut it in pieces. So this is one of the cuttings, and it's growing quite well. And behind this leaf, I have something that I love but have yet mastered to grow, Hoya. So I think the Hoya hates me. I bought this really lush. I bought like three little bits of it, and I stuck it all into one pot. And now it's getting really sparse. Well, not really sparse, but I would love it to be more full, but seem not to be able to grow Hoya as well. I'm a failure. So this is Hoya curtisii. But I really love the little leaves. It reminds me of string of hearts. But it's really tough. It's a tough leaf, and it's got little bits of variegation on it, like design on it, which I like. This is Epipremnum, pothos, manjula, growing really nicely. Really like the manjula because it's got these splattered variegation. Well, more like this splattered green parts, which I really like, as opposed to splattered variegation. Very easy plant to grow. I just threw a cutting in here and it just grew itself. You see, some plants, you don't have to put much effort into it because they like your space. Some plants, even if you put a lot of effort in it, if it doesn't like your space, it doesn't like your space. So, I've come to terms with there are certain plants that I really cannot grow here because they just hate me or they just hate the space. So I'm just sticking to the ones that I can grow. And this is one of the ones that does grow in my space. This is Philodendron mexicanum. So like I said earlier, all the thick-leaf philodendrons seem to grow quite well here. Grows really fast though. Only a few days ago I had to add on to the pole. So now I've overdone it. Woof! It's gone up there. This one doesn't need a lot of maintenance as well. I just spread, like mostly all my plants on sphagnum moss pole, I just spread the pole every few days, make it wet, and then that's it. And I water these plants maybe 2 weeks once in a pot, and they are quite happy, except for that one there. Well, it used to be worse. I must say it used to be worse. So now I'm more consistent with wetting the sphagnum moss around the roots. Okay, let's get back to here. Yep, last two plants on top here. This one is an extra Burle Marx. Well, it's a Burle Marx variegated, but I cut off the non-variegated parts and I just planted it in a pot. And now it's growing like crazy up here. I was going to give this away as a gift, so I might just do that still, give this away as a gift. This is an old plant of mine. Just let it drape here. Looks really pretty with my spirit feather, which I drew on the wall, and my soul flower. So I love this corner. This corner looks really bohemian to me. Really pretty. Alright guys, that's it for what's inside my house, inside my living room. I hope you've enjoyed that after such a long time of not posting anything on my plants. So that's it for now. I will see you again when I see you again. Bye!